I'm Anna Garcia, right now on True Crime News. A 19-year-old Ivy League college student home for winter break disappears. A week later, Blaze Bernstein's body is found in a shallow grave, stabbed 28 times. The killer's sickening motive for murder and reaction from Blaze's parents as they finally get justice. Plus, she was only 20 months old when she disappeared.
A part of me always wonders if she was yelling out for me.
What happened the night she vanished remains a mystery.
We think foul play is involved.
And it's pitting Ayla's mother against her father.
Tell me what happened to my daughter!
Your daily source for true crime starts right now. Thanks for joining us. Our top story today, the murder of Blaze Bernstein. The 19-year-old sophomore at the University of Pennsylvania was viciously stabbed to death while visiting his family in California over winter break. Now, there is finally justice for Blaze. They were just acquaintances in high school. One, the queer Ivy League son of a practicing Jewish family. The other, a community college dropout with a penchant for right-wing memes. During a holiday break, when 19-year-old Blaze Bernstein matched and began flirting with 20-year-old Samuel Woodward on Tinder, Blaze thought he was helping a confused former classmate who was grappling with sexuality. Instead,
let's be clear, this was a hate crime. Sam Woodward ended my son's life because my son was Jewish and gay. He wanted to be the big man.
The big man in an online group of neo-Nazis that Sam Woodward was hoping to impress by killing Blaze Bernstein. In this new interview with True Crime News, Blaze's mother, Jeannie, says Woodward himself is not the only one to blame.
The way that I saw the defendant was just as a very sick human that was born this way. If you raise a sociopath in your home and don't monitor them closely, then eventually they will bite someone.
Blaze was pinpointed because of his religion and or his sexuality. Quite frankly, he died as a result of that.
That made him a double target for Woodward and his online group. Woodward lured the well-liked Blaze to a public park in Orange County under a guise of friendship, all the while bragging online that he was going to commit an act of violence.
He snapped this photo of what appears to be a hand drawing on a napkin that says, "Text is boring, but murder isn't." And it has the knife dripping with blood and the skull. The defendant brought a folding knife, his mask, a shovel, and a sleeping bag, and picked up Blaze Bernstein.
And when alone, Woodward stabbed Bernstein 28 times in the face and neck.
To die as the blood drains from horrendous, painful knife wounds. And eventually your heart stops while knowing you are 3 days away from returning to school and a life you love. Knowing how this would affect your family and friends. This is the vision that I see when I think of his final moments.
Days later, while police are searching for Blaze, Woodward reportedly messaged a friend and said, "Hey man, life is good." It would take 10 days for police to discover what happened to Blaze, his father saying his son did not go quietly.
I learned in the trial that the wounds on Woodward were a sign to me that Blaze struggled to fight to his last breath. And those nails dug in his arms, the knife wounds cut in his knuckles, and our scars for all of us to bear witness from the most dark and tragic days in the lives of my family. The Blaze spreads.
The defense argued the killing had nothing to do with premeditation, anti-Semitism, or homophobia, but that Woodward was afraid from his own homophobic father's reaction to their flirtation. Faced with a mountain of evidence, traces of Blaze's blood on Woodward's knife, and digital evidence connecting Woodward and Blaze.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Samuel Woodward, guilty of the crime of first-degree murder.
Woodward will now spend life behind bars without the possibility of parole.
Everything that God made in this world is perfect just the way that it is. But this was a sociopath, and it was designed to do this. So I don't hate for that reason.
Blaze's mom also says she refuses to let the same hate that consumed Samuel Woodward consume her.
I don't waste time on things like that because there's just too much good that can be done in this world.
Instead, Jeannie and the rest of Blaze's family have put their efforts into running Blaze It Forward, an organization aimed at encouraging charitable action in Blaze's name.
When we were first looking for Blaze, we created a public Facebook group that took in tips and all of that good stuff as we were trying to figure out what happened to our son. When we found out what really had happened, we turned that public Facebook group into Blaze It Forward because people were asking us, what can we do to help you? How can we make this better? And that's how Blaze It Forward was born. We just started to tell people, if you want to do something to make us happy, do something in honor of Blaze. Blaze It Forward.
Jeannie says encouraging people to repair the world is exactly the kind of legacy Blaze would have wanted.
Blaze was a caring person. He cared about humanity. He wanted to make this world better. I want to make sure that his memory always is thought of with that kindness that he shared with the world.
We turn now to a story we've been tracking very closely in our newsroom. A mystery unfolds in Los Angeles. A young woman from Maui vanishes on her way to visit relatives in New York. Days later, her father is found dead, adding to the mystery of what happened to Hannah Kobayashi. The Hawaiian photographer loved to travel and shared pictures on Instagram.
She had a connecting flight to New York, and she missed that flight.
Hannah's distraught family says she was last seen at a metro station in downtown LA, miles from the airport.
She entered the metro with an unidentified person. At this time, it has caused alarm for us.
Her family and police have been able to find video of the 31-year-old in various spots around the city, but then her family gets a disturbing text.
We started getting cryptic messages about her not feeling safe, her things like the Matrix, things that were so out of her character.
They lose contact. True Crime News was there as Hannah's family made a plea in front of cameras in downtown LA. Her concerned dad flew in to help with the search.
Hannah, we love you so much, and just try and get back to us any way possible,
Less than 72 hours later, Hannah's dad, Ryan, was found dead. The LA County coroner confirmed the 58-year-old died by suicide, bringing more heartbreak to the family.
Ryan was a real, beautiful, incredible father. He just couldn't. We need you now more than ever, you guys.
For now, there's been no word on Hannah's whereabouts, and the search continues. If you see Hannah Kobayashi or have any information regarding her whereabouts, please contact the LAPD at 1-877-LAPD-247, or you can call our True Crime News tip line at 888-845-7555. Up next, a toddler vanishes from her bed in the middle of the night.
And I said, Dad, what's going on? What's wrong? The police are here, and Ayla's missing. Nobody knows where she is.
Ayla's mom searches for answers about her missing daughter. What does the little girl's dad know? When we come back. When little Ayla Reynolds disappeared, it set off the largest criminal investigation and missing child searches in Maine's history. The toddler seemed to vanish into thin air, but there were clues about what might have happened to her in her father's house. He denies any wrongdoing, but Ayla's mom doesn't buy it, and now there's a long-awaited development in the case.
I miss her smile, and I miss her blue eyes, and I just miss her and just everything.
It's been more than a dozen agonizing years for Trista Reynolds. Her 20-month-old daughter, Ayla Bell, disappeared under mysterious circumstances from her dad's house in Waterville, Maine. Her body never found.
A part of me always wonders if she was yelling out for me and wondering why I wasn't there to save and protect her like it was supposed to. So no, it haunts me every day.
Someone knows something, but no one's talking. Trista finally took matters into her own hands. pushing to have Ayla declared dead. A Cumberland County judge did just that 6 years after the disappearance.
When I heard the judge's final decision, I kind of lost it, broke down. I mean, I was expecting him to say yes to what we were trying, but a part of me also thought that maybe he wasn't going to declare Ayla dead, and then when he did, it kind of like really hit hard, and it made it all real for me.
Ayla had to be declared dead in order for Trista to take the next step. A year later, Trista filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Ayla's father, Justin DePietro, his mother, and his sister, who were all in the house that terrible night. The suit claims someone attempted to clean up the blood before investigators arrived. Almost a decade after Ayla went missing, you can still hear the pain and anguish in Trista's voice.
For 7 years, I've asked myself, who would want to hurt such an innocent little girl that was filled with so much spunk?
Adorable Ayla Reynolds was a surprise pregnancy for Trista and then boyfriend Justin DePietro.
He said, well, let's put her up for adoption. I said, you're absolutely crazy. I will not do that.
Trista was a loving mom, but shortly after Ayla's first birthday, she relapsed into drug use and entered rehab. Ayla was staying with her aunt, Trista's sister. That is, until Justin and his mother convinced a Maine Department of Health and Human Services worker that they were supposed to have legal custody of Ayla. Justin showed up at the aunt's house with a police officer to take the little girl away.
That night, when the officers brought her down, I told that officer straight out, I said, she's going to flip out. She's going to flip out because she does not want to go with him. He is abusive to her.
Trista and her father, Ronald Reynolds, were both worried about Ayla living with Justin, both claiming the toddler would return from visits with mysterious injuries, which is consistent with what DHS found in its investigation.
She had bruises like going up her leg, and you know, I said, what's this, Justin? And he was like, oh, she was playing at Chuck E. Cheese in a ball pit and some little kid was kicking her. Problem was, there was no ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese.
The night Justin showed up to take Ayla away, she had the very reaction her grandfather predicted. A Lewiston, Maine police officer was there. His official report described what must have been a heart-wrenching moment. Ayla was in the kitchen laughing, playing, and attempting to make conversation with Officer Weaver. Then, the officer had Justin come to the apartment door. When Ayla saw Justin, she immediately broke down crying and attempted to flee through the kitchen. Ayla continued to cry uncontrollably as the officer picked up Ayla and handed her over to Justin. Trista immediately checked herself out of rehab and began to fight to get her daughter back, to no avail.
I said, Justin, why aren't you bringing her to me? Why won't you let me see her? And he just said, you're never going to see her again.
Terrifying words for a mother to hear, but it only amplified when Ayla suffered a broken arm. Justin claimed that he was carrying her in the rain at night when he tripped and fell on top of her. When Trista called to check on Ayla, she says once again, Justin dodged her.
He said, well, she's watching Home Alone right now. And I said, really? And you're not going to let me talk to her? And he never did. And then that was it.
Trista would never speak to or see her daughter Ayla again.
I got on the phone, and it was my dad. And he was in tears, and I said, Dad, what's going on? What's wrong? The police are here, and Ayla's missing. Nobody knows where she is.
According to the Maine State Police, Justin put Ayla in her bed around 8 o'clock the night before, and when he went to check on her the next morning, her bed was empty.
Obviously, when a toddler wanders off, we obviously start searching, starting from the place where she was last seen, and in this place, it was their home. And that search got wider and wider.
As police and divers comb every inch of Waterville, investigators questioned everyone who was in the house that night: Justin, his sister, his mother, and his then-girlfriend. They all claimed Ayla was abducted. Meanwhile, investigators say the little girl's blood was found on items, including her slippers, her car seat, and one of her dolls.
We don't think she was abducted. We don't think she wandered off. And we think foul play is involved.
We think it is highly unlikely that Ayla Reynolds will be found alive.
My whole insides, like I felt like my whole heart and just everything in here, just feeling like it was crackling, and it just broke, and I just dropped to the ground. And I told my mom, I said, it's real, Mom. Like, she's dead.
Justin, just look me in the eye.
When we come back, Trista confronts Justin, but will she get the answer she's looking for?
Justin, just look me in the eye so I can see her.
We're back with the disappearance of 20-month-old Ayla Reynolds, who vanished from her father Justin's house. Her mother, Trista, has always believed that Justin was hiding a dark secret. He denied any wrongdoing and avoided contact with Trista until the day that she tracked him down and confronted him.
I'll never stop looking for Ayla.
Police have never named a suspect in the case, but they've always suspected foul play, and they've also believed that Justin DiPietro's story doesn't pass the straight face test.
We have said from the very beginning that the three adults inside that home know more than they've told us.
2 years after Ayla's disappearance, Justin was in court on an unrelated domestic assault charge. Seems a Portland cop saw him grab and push his ex-girlfriend in public. That case was eventually dismissed.
Tell me what happened to my daughter.
Trista sees the opportunity to face the father of her missing child head-on outside the courthouse, her rage exploding for all to see.
Justin, where she is? Justin, just look me in the eye so I can see her. Justin! What you doing? Guilty, you wouldn't run!
Ayla's grandfather, Ronald Reynolds, is boiling over. He's convinced Ayla was murdered. In several published reports, he claims the motive was money.
3 days before she went missing, he took out an insurance policy out on her, $10,000.
In recent years, Justin DiPietro moved from Maine to Los Angeles. It was there that he told us,
I can't get into exact details with you guys. I don't think it ever feels good for anybody to be accused of something they didn't do. I've never done anything wrong to anybody to, do any of this, and I know for sure my daughter hasn't either.
Back when Trista had filed the wrongful death lawsuit against Justin, his mother and sister, the young mother held a press conference expressing her deepest emotions, saying, "Justin, I promise you, wherever you are, one day you will have to face me and tell me the truth of what really happened to Ayla. You can't hide from this forever." The wrongful death lawsuit was settled through mediation just this year. Does that settlement constitute justice for this grieving mother? We may never know because we reached out to all parties and were told the civil matter has been resolved. In the meantime, Trista only has her memories of a little girl lost.
I have my 5-year-old tell me that he plays with her in his dreams, and she's got these beautiful wings, and they're always playing in a garden with other little people with wings. It tells me right there that she's in heaven, that she's looking down and she's watching us.
Authorities say they have not given up on the case and are asking for your help. If you have any information, please call the Maine State Police at 800-452-4664, or you can contact our tip line at 888-845-7555. We'll be right back. On the next True Crime News, the twisted Texas love triangle, a jilted wife, her husband, a trucking tycoon, and his younger mistress.
She had told my mother she was going to show up at my mother's office and beat her up.
Taunting threats of battery and blackmail, all leading up to a crazy car chase.
They're traveling at a high rate of speed, 90, 100 miles an hour, they're acting like idiots.
Ending in a deadly crash. Is it an accident or a crime of passion? On the next True Crime News. For the latest breaking crime news, go to truecrimenews.com. Watch more exclusive content on our YouTube channel, listen to our podcast, and follow us at My True Crime News. That's it for today's True Crime News. I'm Anna Garcia. See you next time, everyone. Crime doesn't stop, neither do we.